What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Whiteriverrambo, and I can honestly say I have never brought this much on myself this late in the game. What is it? August 10th? So I don't even know what day it is. My wife Amy has bought 2 new bows over the last 3 weeks, and well, I bought one about 4 weeks ago, and I have yet to set it up. This is an APA Black Mamba Pro. It is not in my draw length. It is not set up for me, and it is not new. So I have to build it from the ground up. And so I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to show everyone what I go through in a setup from a bare bones bow and build it up. Now, for those who remember or don't remember, actually, we actually contacted Nabal of APA last year, and he sent me a very, very similar bow. Okay, and we reviewed it on the channel. Loved the bow, and actually sought this out this year. And then, as luck were to have it, talking to Nabal, I was very interested in the Summit, and I bought that for my wife Amy. She has been shooting it just a little bit over the last week or so, and then she turned around and also bought a Bear Legend 30, which we are working on setting up. I've got to shim the cams, and I'm having a hard time getting that axle out. So we'll mess with that later on. But today I'm going to build my primary bow. Y'all know I'm going to have multiple, right? But this is going to be my primary bow for deer season, in an APA Black Mamba Pro, and about 60 pounds. 61, 63, 60 somewhere. We'll find out together. First of all, if you can see there or not, the black section of this cam, currently set at 27.5-inch draw length, and I am a 28.5-inch draw length. So this is the first thing we have to do. We have to switch these modules out. There are 3 screws. Should not be that big of a deal, but I do have to put it in a press to be able to get to that 3rd screw that is generally right underneath the limb. So let's get that knocked out first, and then we'll start bolting on some accessories. Been a little contrary with me there. The draw stop wants to hang out in front of the head of that bolt, but we got it, so we're good. There we go. 28J and 29L. So that makes 28.5 a K. Okay, so we need to come right here, line up K with the apex of this bolt. And that should be 28.5. There's just nothing better than a QAD, so let's go ahead and get our brand new MX2 out of the box. Somewhere in here we've got some felt, and there it is, that knife that nobody likes. We have to take our plate off and our lockdown screw, and then as you can see there is a notch to line up right there, but I generally run a little bit high on the burger hole, so I'm just going to cheat up to the top 1/3 and then go ahead and lock this down. So next up, I want to take my my string stop out. Let's go ahead and take that out that way and this out this way, and install the MPB. It is an off counterbalancer. It eliminates the need for a back bar, and it also provides a little bit of dampening. All you do on your MPB is just tighten it down wherever you see fit. I usually run mine out about 30 degrees or so, and then you see we got 3 weights on there. Last time I did this, I had 4 weights back there, and then we've already got a micro bumper up here. And then new, there is a system that you can take and actually apply weights on the side of the riser right down here. And it's pretty endless when it comes to where you can put weights on this riser without the need of an extended stabilizer. It's starting to look like a bow. we went ahead and installed a 4-pin B3. Now this is the exact hunter, and I despise this mount. I hate it, but it's what we got. I had 2 dovetails and ended up Amy needed both of them, so um, I guess I get the last pick this year. Something cool I found the other day. I was not aware that this release was made. I've got a couple stands. I've been shooting true fire for years. I wanted to try something different, and I found this. I've always been a wrist strap guy, and well, this actually has a clicker in it, and well, you won't be able to hear it until I put pressure on it, but there's just the slightest little click, and the more pressure you put on it, just that little So anyway, I wanted to try that, so I went ahead and bought one. I like it that it's short, it's all metal, and hopefully I can get a deep hook on this, and I'm excited about that. I'm definitely going to have any trouble getting a full hook on that. Okay. I don't see any issues. Wasn't going to do this. Okay. There's nothing wrong with these strings. Little ratty here and there, but they're not bad. Okay. They're still an 8, right? But as it turns out, the previous owner was a guru, and well, I have 3 sets of strings for this bow. So it doesn't make much sense to start the season out with a set of strings that's an 8. When I've got, yeah, let's just throw them on here before we ever tie in anything. Well, that was pretty easy. Question for the chat. So, activation cord. Obviously, it has to be on your down cable. I have had these up here to where they were short. I have had them down here where they were long. What do you prefer? Now, obviously, the shorter you get, the more of an angle pull it is, okay, which is not the best. It kind of needs to be down here. That way it pulls down around the apex of this wrist. I actually prefer to have these low. Now, obviously, this the way this is served, it's served here and it's served here. And I have to prevent the string from riding up. But I actually like to come down here and serve just a half-inch area right here and then wedge my activation cord in between the string. And I don't know if you can see that right there. Just nothing crazy. All right. Just throw that right there. Give it a little back burn. Quench it. Now, with the rest down, I'll just pull this tight, okay, and kind of winch it up in there, then draw the bow, and that should set my distance. And then I'll come back here and burn the end of it. My activation cord's in there, and it won't go anywhere. It can't ride up. Should work great. All right, to start out with, got my T-square in here, and I'm just going to start at just a little bit up from flush. Now, I like to go double on my first one, okay, 2 strands, and then over, and then down. And right now, I'm going to do my bottom tie-in first. Okay, that's about a 1/16 up from 0, and I have my square sitting at the bottom of the burger hole. So that's probably a good spot. Obviously, we won't know till we get in there, but generally, I routinely start too high. So this time I'm going to start at 0 and then see about running up in the burger hole. Just switching knots in and out, both sides. Just single knots, working down the bowstring till I get 3 or 4. Then on my last one, I'm going to come in on top. I'm going to split that tie-in on this side, making sure that my knot seats down in between, just like that. And then I'm going to do it again, right over top of it. Now, obviously, it's best if you don't lose track of your tail. I'm offset on my tails here, so I'll grab a pair of pliers. Hi, Fran. Okay, got that cut. And that looks like a decent tie-in. All right, so the majority of my nocks are this right here, which this is a Carbon Express Photon. Nimrod Archery, Warhead Archery, both of all those seem to be about the same nock. So it's definitely smaller than the 244 varieties. I'm a 5mm guy, so we're running 244s pretty much on everything. Okay, and I want to leave just about a 30-second gap. All right, no more than that. There we go, double. We got our tails. I'll make sure I pull my tails even this time. Okay, get tighter than that. All right, so that's my double. That's my tie-in. Go ahead and pop that down, let that drop. Now I'm going to be working up towards the peep. I love double tie-ins. Now that may look really small, but when it comes down to it, it's actually pretty liberal. Once we get this smashed down at angle on this 31-inch axle-to-axle bow, that will actually be very, very tight. Not so tight that we create knock pinch, but that's going to be a real forgiving setup right there. Let's go ahead and get some D-loop material out. Okay, well, I can see where this is going. We got a green string, blaze orange tie-ins. I think a green D-loop is going to look amazing. So let's just go ahead and pull off, I don't know, about 6 inches here. As far as the peep sight goes, it's a G5 Meta Pro, and yes, you're reading that right. That is a 5/16 peep because Mama didn't raise no bitch. No, it's because I'm old and I can't see shit. Next up, before we get too carried away, I have this special 3D printed device from APA that will actually pop down on here, and it will allow us to use this in a drawboard in a more consistent manner. So I want to check my timing. We got new strings on here, and it's very important that I have those new strings installed correctly. Okay, we're out down there. So no big deal. This bottom cam is out just a little bit. Top one touches first, which means I need to shorten up this cable. Actually, shorten up this cable or this yoke. So let's just do that. Okay, we hit. Okay, that's actually spot on. So one thing I appear to be obsessed with is quivers, and well, the amount of crap that is out there on the market. So I've been a fan of tight spot for a long time, and I am a minimalist, man. Okay, they quit making the 3 arrow. They only made the 5 arrow for a couple years, and they dropped this 4 arrow in an airlock, and I thought it was going to be the cat's ass. Well, it turns out it's not. The thing is noisy. It just, I don't know, the vibration factor that goes along with this. You can see I put a Bojacks or whatever it is on it, and that helped a little bit, but I had that on 3 different bows last year. Aside from this patent that yeah, Tight Spot has. I mean, if they didn't have this, I don't think they'd sell very many of these. But I did find out that they actually make a secondary bracket just to kind of stabilize things, right? So I'm going to get that on there. We're going to give this a shot, and I think that secondary will actually stiffen this up quite a bit as far as quieting things down. I got a challenge for you. You think your bow's thin, put a quiver on it, and then go measure it. I'm gonna come right here. That's 3 3/8. Right there's 3 1/4. There's no possible way that there's a bow out there that is any thinner than this setup. Almost ridiculous how thin that is. Oh, I lied. I wasn't counting my counterbalancer. But look, we got fletching clearance, we got arrow clearance, we got rest clearance. That's stupid skinny, bro. What a killer looking setup, man. That is definitely different than anything I've ever had in 32 years of archery. Yes, I'm going to build arrows. Yes, I'm going to go through the tuning process. Yes, I need to break these strings in before I get too far ahead of myself. Right now, with brand new strings, I probably need to be putting a couple hundred arrows into this target, getting used to the feel of the bow, as well as fine tuning my draw stops. Now, one thing about APA is they have a little bit of adjustment on their backstop. Obviously, setting the limb stops, you can adjust how much valley you have. I may want just a little bit more valley, so we may creep it out to 28 3/4. That being said, I also, with that new release that I had, after tying this in and getting in time for whatever reason, I felt like my peep sight's a little low. Right now, I don't care. I'm simply going to shoot the bow, break the strings in, and then I will adjust all this as well as get all this aligned. You can see we got a little bit of twist going on. We got to get that straightened out. But right now, I need to break some strings in. One thing I can see that I'm going to have trouble with, and I had trouble with this on a different bow, is the height of this sight. Now, I got the sight all the way up, and right now at 15 yards, I'm 8 inches high. So I'm going to have to find a way to get this sight to work, or I'm going to have to get another sight. It's one thing I hate about this mount is it does not have the elevation that it should have. Another thing that I have noticed just now is the deflection of this limb coming down. This cable post is touching my quiver. So I'm going to have to actually shim this a little wider or possibly drop it down. Looks like I can come down 1.5 inches here. So I think instead of worrying about making it wider, I'm just going to go ahead and drop this down a little bit. I'm still touching. We're going to have to shim that. Bow's quiet, bow's fast. Looks like the arrows are fairly straight, even with new strings. I've not paper tuned anything yet, but just a little bit of adjustment on this quiver. I can't believe that limb comes all the way down that far, but not that big a deal. You can see I'm just about out to the end of my windage here, so I'll need to put a spacer underneath that, or I could possibly go ahead and mount it up here, which would do two things. That's actually going to move my quiver forward 2 inches, which honestly, I'm not mad at. Probably be all right. Now, as far as weight goes, with half a quiver, bow's balanced. And that's what I'm looking for. So right out of the box, it already feels familiar. We just got to put the time in and kind of figure out this sight situation. We should be good to go. So I just remembered yesterday in a post that I said when I dropped this video that I was going to support some numbers. So I know that is a 402 grain arrow. That's all I know right now. Over here on the side, I will put the exact bow weight. I will put the arrow weight, and then right here we'll test and see what kind of speeds we get. So 28.5 inch draw, somewhere in the 60, 62 pound range. .282. So I got 278, 280, 282, and then that one time I got 274. So I'm gonna say we're right at 279, somewhere in there. Not too bad. I appreciate y'all joining me on this episode. My name is Dustin Apple, hashtag Whiteriverrambo. Please go check out my other accounts. I run 9 social media accounts. I'm posting this on the Whiteriverrambo Archery channel, which will be archery from here on out. But if you want to catch up with some of my other shenanigans, as well as the 108,000 followers that I have on TikTok, we do things a little different over there. You might want to go check that out. Hashtag Whiteriverrambo, at Whiteriverrambo on all of your favorite apps. And I'll see you on the next one.